What if the very words you're burning to speak are the only thing keeping you apart? You feel it, don't you? That primal, gut-wrenching urge to reach into the silence and stitch the chaos back together with your words. To send that one perfect message that will finally make them see, make them understand, make the aching void between you simply vanish. It feels like love, this compulsion. It feels like faith. It wears the costume of courage. But what if I told you that in the sacred, maddening geometry of the twin flame journey, this instinct is the universe's ultimate trick question? The answer is not in the speaking, but in a kind of sacred, soul-deep silencing of a need you never knew you had. Imagine your most heartfelt message, infused with all your longing and truth, doesn't land in their mind as a revelation, but in their energy field as a seismic shock wave. It doesn't feel like an invitation. It feels like a demand for them to be different, to feel different, to be different right now. And the runner, that beautiful, terrified reflection of your own every unhealed edge, feels the pressure of that demand in their very bones. Their flight isn't from your heart, but from the weight of a destiny that feels more like a sentence when it's shouted instead of whispered by the soul. This connection doesn't bloom in the soil of persuasion. It can only root in the fertile, silent ground of mutual becoming. So before you give voice to that ache, before you hand them the evidence of your broken heart or your mended soul, consider this. What if the most powerful thing you can ever do for your union is to learn the art of what to hold in your heart and what to never, ever let cross your lips? The real magic, it turns out, begins where your words end. Let's get real for a moment. You've been in the trenches. You've cried the tears. You've read the books. You've sat on the meditation cushion until you felt you could levitate, or at least until your foot fell asleep. You've devoured every piece of spiritual wisdom you could find, and you've applied it. You feel lighter, clearer, more you than ever before. And there's this incredible, almost irresistible urge to send a cosmic invoice to your runner, to lean over the spiritual fence and say, "Look, I've done my part. The ball is in your court. You're the one who needs to catch up now." Oh, beautiful soul, I need you to hear this, not with your ears, but with the raw, aching truth of your heart. That single thought, let alone that statement, is the very barrier you're trying to cross. You see, the twin flame journey isn't a race on a single track. It's a dance in a hall of mirrors. And when you declare, "I am healed," you are essentially pointing at your reflection and claiming it as the only true image in the room. But what if I told you that the runner's flight is not a rejection of you, but a visceral, soul-deep recoil from the unhealed shadow they still see reflected in your eyes, even especially when you insist it's gone? Think of it like this. You've been working out, eating clean, feeling strong. You're proud, and you should be. But then you meet a friend who's struggling with their health, and you flex your bicep and say, "Look, I'm healthy. You're the one who's sick." It's grotesque, isn't it? It creates a hierarchy of worth where none can exist. In the spiritual realm, this is what we call the ego's final, most cunning disguise, the spiritual ego. It dresses up in light worker's clothing, but it speaks the language of separation. It says, I am here and you are there. I am whole and you are broken. And the runner's soul, which is hyper-attuned to the energy of pressure and expectation, feels this judgment a million miles away. It confirms their deepest fear, that this connection is conditional, that to return they must measure up to your newfound standard. This is the sacred mystery so many miss. The work was never about achieving a state of perfection to present like a finished thesis. It's about the integration of all your parts, the light and the shadow, the strength and the vulnerability. When you claim completion, you unconsciously exiles the parts of you that are still tender, still learning. And my love, that tenderness is your greatest strength right now. That is your humanity. That is what makes you real. The runner isn't running from a perfected, saintly being of pure light. Could you imagine how intimidating that would be? They are running from the intensity of the truth that this connection demands everything. And when you proclaim your healing from the mountaintop, you are, without realizing it, shouting the very thing that terrifies them. The work is done. There is no more room for error. It sounds like a life sentence to a soul in panic. So what is the alternative? It is to become a living, breathing embodiment of your journey without the need for a billboard. It is to heal so quietly and so deeply that your peace becomes a silent, magnetic invitation, not a loud, demanding manifesto. It's to understand that true healing makes you more compassionate, more spacious, more forgiving, not of others, but of yourself first. And in that spacious self-acceptance, you create a universe of safety for another soul to simply be, without a report card, without a deadline. You stop being a mirror that reflects back their perceived inadequacies and start becoming a harbor where their storm-tossed soul can imagine for one fleeting moment what it might feel like to drop anchor. And you know what the real secret is? The moment you truly, deeply, in the secret quiet of your own heart, release the need for them to see your healing, is the very moment you become utterly, irresistibly magnetic. But what about all those signs and synchronicities the universe keeps sending you? If you can't talk about your healing, surely you can show them the proof, right? Well, that's a whole other beautiful trap we often fall into. So, you're seeing the signs. Of course you are. The universe has become a relentless, loving stalker. 1111? Check. Feathers in your path. A whole aviary. A song on the radio that spells out your entire story. It's enough to make you think the cosmos has a direct line to your Spotify. It's beautiful. It's affirming. It's the fuel that keeps you going on the hard days. And the urge to compile this divine dossier and present it to your runner is overwhelming. Look, you want to whisper, to shout, to somehow transmit. It's not just me. It's fate. It's divine. Can't you see? Stop. Right there. I need you to imagine something with me. Imagine you're in a vast, open field. The sky is huge. The possibilities are endless. You feel free. Now imagine someone who loves you, mind you, comes and builds a beautiful gilded fence around you. It's intricately carved with angel numbers and sacred geometry. It is, objectively, a work of art. But it's still a fence. How do you feel? The vastness is gone. The freedom is gone. All you can see are the bars, no matter how beautiful they are. That is what you do when you hand your runner your collection of synchronicities. You are not handing them freedom. You are handing them the blueprint for their own prison. Let's peel this back, layer by layer, into the beautiful, terrifying mystery at its core. The runner is in a state of spiritual claustrophobia. Their entire being is screaming for autonomy, for the right to their own narrative, for the space to breathe and decide who they are outside of this overwhelming force. This connection to them can feel like a predestined script written by a cosmic playwright who didn't consult them. And what are you doing when you arrive with your list of signs? You are handing them the finalized script and pointing to their highlighted lines. You are confirming their deepest, darkest fear, that their own feelings, their own confusion, their own sacred process of discovery is irrelevant. The universe has spoken. But here's the secret: the universe doesn't put in the flashy promo materials. Free will is not a secondary feature of this journey. It is the very ground it grows on. To attempt to bypass someone's free will with higher truth is a form of spiritual coercion, no matter how lovingly intended. It's like trying to force a flower to bloom by prying its petals open. You might get the appearance of the result, but you've killed the life force that made it magical in the first place. Your signs, your angelic fanfare, your profound intuitive hits. They are for you. They are your personal breadcrumbs in the dark forest, your love notes from the divine to strengthen your faith, to comfort your heart, to guide your steps. They are the internal compass, not the external leash you try to clip onto another soul. Think of it this way. If you had to constantly convince someone with facts and figures and third-party testimonials that they should be with you, is that even a love worth having? Or is it a spiritual debate you've won? The twin flame connection is meant to be a knowing that blooms from within both of you, independently, until it meets in the middle in a glorious, unshakable resonance. It cannot be a truth imposed from the outside. So what do you do with all this glorious, overflowing, undeniable evidence? You treasure it. You let it nourish you. You let it give you the courage to live your life so fully, so joyfully, that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You hold it as your sacred secret, and in doing so, you perform the ultimate act of love for your runner. You give them back their sky. You remove the pressure of the gilded fence, and you silently, faithfully hold the space for them to have their own journey, to see their own 1111, to find their own feathers, to have their own breathtaking, personal, undeniable encounter with the divine that has nothing to do with your narrative and everything to do with their own soul's awakening. Your quiet, unshakable knowing, without the need to convince, becomes the most powerful magnet of all, because it's no longer rooted in evidence, but in embodied truth. And you know what the real miracle is? The moment you stop using the universe as your messenger boy and start becoming the living, breathing expression of its love yourself, is the moment everything begins to shift. But what happens when the fear and the old patterns creep back in? When the silence feels too loud? There is a way to navigate that too. A way to understand the deeper dance of energy that keeps this connection in motion. So here we are, at the edge of everything you thought you knew about this connection. It's a strange and beautiful paradox, isn't it? That the very things we feel compelled to do, to declare our healing, to present our divine proof, are the very actions that build the walls we're desperately trying to scale. We've been trying to navigate a soul-level earthquake with the rules of a board game, and the board has just been flipped over. Let me offer you a different image now. Forget the chase, forget the fences and the prisons. Imagine yourself instead as a deep, still mountain lake. The water is so clear, so profoundly calm, that it perfectly reflects the sky, the trees, the passing eagles. It does not beg the sky to be blue. It does not cry out to the eagle to fly lower for a better view. It simply is. And in its unwavering stillness, it holds the entire universe within itself. This, beloved soul, is your new territory. This is the state from which all real magic is born. The runner isn't out there somewhere beyond your reach. They are, in the most mystical sense, a part of this very lake, a reflection that has been disturbed by the winds of fear. And what happens when the water is choppy and you're throwing stones into it, even stones of healing and divine truth? The reflection shatters into 1,000 indistinguishable pieces. Your work now, your true and most sacred mission, is not to chase the reflection. It is to become still, to let the sediment of your own pain, your need, your beautiful and human desperation settle down to the soft bottom. This journey was never about convincing another soul of your worth or your shared destiny. How exhausting that would be. It was always only about you coming home to the unshakable truth of your own being. The runner's departure was not a cancellation of your contract with the divine. It was the opening of the first page, the chapter where you learn to love yourself with the same ferocity and faithfulness you wanted to give away. This separation is the universe's most drastic and most loving intervention to save you from a union of two halves and guide you toward a reunion of two wholes. When you stop speaking the words that chain, you start emitting a frequency that liberates. Your silent, embodied wholeness becomes an invitation so compelling it cannot be ignored. It whispers to their soul not with arguments, but with the pure, resonant memory of home. It says, without a single sound, "It is safe here. There is space for you here. There is no test to pass." You are not waiting, you are becoming. And what you are becoming is so much more magnificent than you can currently imagine. You are learning the art of the sacred pause, the power of the unspoken vow, the strength found in tender vulnerability. This path is not a punishment, it is a refining fire, and you are emerging not as ash, but as gold. The story is not on hold. The most crucial chapters are being written in the quiet of your own heart. And the pen, my love, is finally gloriously in your hand. And you know, the most fascinating part of this entire transformation begins when you start to wonder, who will you have become? What new worlds will you have built by the time they finally find their way back to your shores?